Who told you how your story would go? Who decided the path you were supposed to take? They handed you a script, one where you were meant to be weak, where you were meant to stay in the shadows, where you were meant to fail. They thought you would follow it, just like everyone else. But you didn't. You tore that script apart. You rewrote the ending. They had their expectations. They placed their bets. They whispered behind your back, convinced they already knew how you would turn out. Maybe they saw you struggle. Maybe they saw you fall. And in their minds, that was the end of it. They counted you out. They thought your story was over before it even began. But they forgot something. They forgot that you are not written by them. You are not bound by their words, their limits, or their small-minded predictions. You are the author of your own fate. And when they thought they had you figured out, you flipped the script. You see, most people accept the role they've been given. They play their part, afraid to step outside the lines, afraid to question the rules. They live inside a story someone else wrote for them, but not you. You refused to accept what was handed to you. You saw beyond the page. You saw a blank space where an ending should have been, and you knew that ending belonged to you. They told you that you weren't good enough. They told you that you would never make it. They told you to stay where you are, to accept the life given to you. And for a while, maybe you believed them. Maybe you let their words sink in. Maybe you carried their doubt on your back, mistaking it for your own thoughts. But then something happened. A shift, a realization. You saw the truth. Their script was never meant for you. You started rewriting. You started changing the narrative. You stopped seeing yourself through their eyes and started seeing yourself for what you really are. A force, a fire, something unstoppable. You stopped asking for permission. You stopped waiting for approval. You took control. And when they saw that, they panicked. Because nothing scares them more than someone who refuses to be controlled. Nothing makes them more uncomfortable than someone who won't accept their place. They wanted you to stay small. They wanted you to stay predictable. But you shattered every expectation, every assumption, every label they tried to force onto you. They underestimated the power of someone who decides to take their life into their own hands. They underestimated what happens when someone refuses to settle. And now, they don't know what to do with you. They don't recognize you anymore. You aren't the person they thought you were. You aren't the person they tried to make you. And that terrifies them. Every time you rise, you remind them of their own limits. Every time you prove them wrong, you expose their own fears. Because if you can break free, if you can rewrite your ending, then what's stopping them? The truth is, they never had control over you. They only had the illusion of it. They only had the power you allowed them to have. But that power, it's gone now. You took it back. You own your story now. And the best part? You're just getting started. The version of you they knew. The one who was afraid, who hesitated, who second-guessed themselves. That version is gone. It burned in the fire of everything you've overcome. It was left behind in the pages you tore out. What remains is something new, something unstoppable. They don't have a name for what you've become. They don't have a word for the strength you've built. Because people like them, they don't write stories about people like you. They don't teach you how to break free. They only teach you how to conform. But you broke the mold. You built yourself from the ground up, and you did it without their permission. They wanted to see you struggle. They wanted to see you stuck in the same cycle, playing the same role, reading the same lines. But now, they're speechless. Now, they watch in silence, unsure of what to say, because the story they wrote for you no longer exists, and in its place, a masterpiece they never saw coming. Keep going, keep rewriting, keep proving them wrong. Let them watch, let them wonder, let them sit with the realization that they never had the power to define you. They thought they had you figured out. They thought they knew your ending, but they were wrong. You wrote a different one, and it's only the beginning.